Thank you for that. All right, so today we are going to talk about something, as you can see there, it is what school will not teach you. Yeah, something that school will not teach you, something that is taught, people learn by either by being trained, or people learn by being by experience. Yeah, and one thing I normally say is that if you can find a way to learn some things from being taught or from observing the ones who basically do that particular thing, is the best way to learn, because you're gonna shorten your learning curve. Yeah, you're gonna shorten your learning curve. All right. Okay, I've just realized that I've not put on my video. Let me just put it on. Okay, Coach Paul, probably you can remove the share and then I share my video so that you can see who's talking. Yeah, I've just been talking and there I am. Good. So so I took it upon myself to teach people how about these 4 things called 4 ways of generating an income. Okay, 2 of them are normally used by people who are, who make money ineffectively. Let me just call it that. And the other 2 ways are money is made by people who are in the know. Yeah, people who have figured out a way to make money that way. The way I'm going to explain. And they say, what I'm going to teach is the reason they say that the rich keep getting richer, and unfortunately, the poor keep getting poorer. Okay. So I'm going to teach something called the cash flow quadrant, the Robert Kiyosaki cash flow quadrant. When I came across this concept, it really empowered me. I came across it some few years ago. I had no idea such a concept existed until I came across it in some training forum. And from that day, it has become my passion to teach people about the cash flow quadrant. So what is a cash flow quadrant? I'm going to share here. Let me just see. I'm going to share here a certain image. Okay, just a minute. Let me just make sure it is. All right, so as I'm waiting for my image to show up, yeah, quadrant means 4, yeah, those of us who did mathematics, quadrant means 4, yeah, and cash flow quadrant means there are 4 ways to create cash flow. In other words, there are 4 ways to become wealthy or to create an income. And let me just say something here before I show that quadrant, speaking about cash flow. What you don't want in life, and did I introduce myself? My name is Quintasha. I am an IT professional turned business owner. Yeah. At some point, I got tired of doing IT, programming and putting together IT systems, managing servers, connecting VSAT and all that. I decided to get into the world of business, and I really love it. Yeah. I decided to transition from career into business, which is normally what I encourage people to do. You can have a career, you can be working, but it's good to always transit into business eventually, okay? So I'm an IT professional, and I decided to get into business, specifically into network marketing, which I found very fulfilling. I used to have a high-flying job. Some of you know my story. And because, living off my suitcase, traveling all over the world, and it got to some point where I actually began getting tired, because you realize you're working for somebody else, you're working so hard for someone else. When are you going to create your own path? Yeah. And in the process of that thought, a policy was changed in the international organization I used to work for. I'm actually multilingual. I used to be in charge of French-speaking countries. And that's why I used to travel. But then a policy came in my international organization where they said an Anglophone professional cannot take care of Francophone countries. And that is how I lost my job. And that's how I tell people, however much money you're earning, you are still employed by somebody. And that is why when I learned about the cash flow quadrant, it became a passion of mine, because I've actually lived what that quadrant is talking about. Okay, so that is basically a summary about myself. So what I actually do, some of you might know, I do virtual AVS full-time. I'm not employed. I don't do any other business. The only thing I do is virtual AVS, okay? And for those who are wondering what virtual AVS is, I'm gonna give you just a small snippet of what it is as towards the end, all right? So going back, I was saying there are 4 ways of making money, 4 ways of creating cash flow, and there's something I said, let me add before I show you the image or the picture or the graphic that I want to show you. Now, one thing you've got to know, yeah, is there are many people, and maybe some of us are here, there are many people who are asset full, but they're cash poor. Okay, let me just put it another way. They are asset rich, but cash poor. What does that mean? Someone tells you, you know, I own land, I own houses, I have a very big shop, you know, I have all these assets that I've bought, yeah? But the person is actually cash poor. What I mean by cash poor is if a need arises right now, for example, if a child gets a place in a college, yeah, in a university, for example, they actually don't have cash right now to pay for that fee. What they'll end up doing is to go and try to sell their assets, you know, sell their piece of land, sell their cattle, okay? Cattle will hardly give you enough money to pay school fees unless it is, you know, the hybrid cattle. But even then, you'll be taking yourself backwards, because if you sell cattle, it means you need to look for cash to buy more, yeah? So anyway, such people cannot be able to cash. They don't have cash flow. The cash that they have is to live by, to pay rent here and there, to pay workers, and so on. But when a need comes, they are asset rich, but they are cash poor, cash flow poor. That is the worst situation anybody could ever be in. And an even worse analogy, though I don't like using it, but let me just use it. Another analogy is that someone can be told, oh, a close member of the family is very, very sick, yeah, and they need to be taken to where do people normally go? They go to India, most people, yeah. This person needs to go to India. This is the airfare. This is the doctor's fee. This is the treatment. They need to be there for at least a month. This is the procedure they need to go through. You'll find someone with land, houses, you know, all those things that are solid, you know, assets, but they can't actually liquidate them. The person is cash flow poor. They have assets. What happens is either they cannot be able to afford to pay, they cannot be able to sell their assets quick enough. Okay, so they might spend time, and I know we know such stories. Someone has land, houses, they can't even sell them. They can't find a buyer. The money is needed in 3 weeks' time. You understand? So what normally happens is they get someone who buys their house or buys their land at throwaway price. You know, people take advantage of others. They know, there's someone there selling land and they're desperate. You just quote this amount and they're going to sell the land. It's a very sad situation to be in, okay? That is why just holding assets is very dangerous. Anything can happen. It is better, by the way, it is better to be cash rich and asset not so rich. Let me not call it poor, yeah? It's good to have some assets, but it's more important to be cash rich, because if you have a way of having cash, yeah, you can decide to convert some of it into assets, you know, slowly, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about, and there's an emphasis I'll put on today. The emphasis I'll put on today is how to be cash rich. You understand? Okay, so I'm aware that people who probably will say I'm wealthy, I'm okay. But one thing they don't know is that cash matters. Actually, they normally say cash is king. Cash in business, they say in life, they say cash is king because cash can get anything. Cash can pay for expenses and cash can buy assets, but assets can't take care of expenses. I hope you catch my drift, okay? So I did say I'm going to share with you, and by the way, I would wish anybody who is in our WhatsApp groups to go and remind people that the class has started, yeah? I know we put a link, but some people need reminder, yeah? Just go and remind them and tell them the Zoom session has started, okay? Good, because everybody needs to hear about this. I said I'm gonna share my, my chart, okay? And as I share my chart, please let's look at one section at a time. Let's look at one section at a time. It is a quadrant, it has four sections, but please just flow with me, yeah? Don't go ahead of me. And I would recommend that you write notes, okay? I would recommend that highly, yeah? Or you record me. Good. Aha. So let me share what I need to share. Coach Paul, your hand is up. You need my attention. Okay, fine. Good.
Yeah, I was just saying, for the sake of those tuning in for the very first time, I know perhaps there is, for example, Frida Owinga here and many others. So if you are tuning in for the very first time and perhaps you'd like to know more about virtual AVS and why this talk is important, especially for the partners who have joined virtual AVS, Queen Tasha will custom tailor the training to include the reason as to why this particular quadrant is important in our business model.
Okay, so thanks, Coach Paul. I hope in whatever you said, I was not being addressed anywhere because my audio, believe it or not, I can't, my speaker isn't speaking to me, yeah? So I'm actually trying to log in using my phone so that I can hear anybody who's speaking, yeah? So I hope what you said was for the benefit of the audience and not for me because I never had anything, yeah? In case it was for me, you can type it. Yeah, please type it. Let me just wait to see what you're typing for me, yeah? Actually, now I have my phone. Okay, so
Okay.
as I'm waiting for...
Can you hear me now?
Okay, say that again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so I was just saying that there are those perhaps who've tuned in for the very first time, and they would like to know, of course, what the importance of the four quadrant that you'll be discussing today, the inspired by Robert Kiyosaki. So how is this applicable in our business model? And will we be mentioning anything to do with virtual AVS tonight as well? So stay tuned. Quintasha will custom tailor the training to address that as well. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to use that chat section to type it in. And maybe at the end of the session, we'll also allow participants to raise their hands to give their comments or questions.
Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good. So I was saying I'll put up my chart and then I'm going to introduce it. There it is. Right. Shared. And I did say that I'm going to talk about each quadrant separately. That is why I would really love it if you don't look around, just follow me where I'm going. Okay, just follow me where I'm going. I'm trying to see if I can. Oh, all right. That's what I was gonna do anyway. I was gonna expand it. Okay. So it's expanded on my laptop, but not on my phone, but that's okay. So the cash flow quadrant is 4 ways to produce an income, 4 ways to produce an income, 4 ways to produce cash. Remember, I told you as an introduction, you need to be cash flow rich, and then you can buy assets, okay? Now, 4 ways to produce income or 4 ways to generate money, okay? And there are 2 types of income. As you can see there at the top, there is linear income and there's leveraged and residual income. The world's wealthiest people, guess what they have? They have leveraged and residual income. Linear income is a kind of income that comes almost in a fixed kind of way. You understand? This month, 10,000. Okay, well, this month, let's say you earn 25,000. Next month is 25,000, 25,000 for the last, I don't know how many months or how many years. And then maybe they add to 28, you know, and it doesn't go with the effort that you put. It is linear. It's a line. Linear is a line. Okay, for those of you who like graphs, it's just a line. Now, many people suffer because of linear income because, as you know, expenses are not linear, isn't it? Expenses are not linear, especially if you move in different levels in life. For example, you are single and your income was okay, your cash flow was fine, you could take care of things. And then, you know, you decide, you know what, I think I need to move to a more expensive house because I can't live in the house I used to live in just when I finished college, yeah? So let me move to a bigger house. Your income is still linear, but you have added rental expenses, right? And then at some point, you know, you get married and now you have another person you're taking care of. The income has hardly gone high. You're two people now, the income isn't double. Children come and so on. If someone is not careful to do something about their income, guess what? They become poorer. And that is why my topic for today is why the rich become richer and the poorer become poorer, okay? So one way of making money is linear income, hardly, you know, ideal. The other way that the wealthy people have figured out and that most of us are really working to get to is leveraged income, where you leverage on people, on systems, you leverage, you know, you go further into ways of making money, okay? Leverage means support or you know, it talks of not you making money by yourself, you understand? Residual income is the same thing. Residual income is the income that at first it's little and then eventually it keeps on increasing. It gets to a point where it ceases to be linear. It begins increasing and it begins increasing exponentially, okay? Exponentially means the angle becomes more and more steeper, you understand? And like I said, for those of you who appreciate graphs, an exponential growth of anything is where it's called what? The x-axis. For any small movement on the x-axis, the y-axis expands quickly. You understand? So it is sort of like an angle that is steep. Okay, that is residual income. And many people are not patient enough to wait for residual income to become exponential. Okay, and that is where people lose out. All right, good. Now, when I talk about the 4 quadrants, I'm going to be referring to linear income and I'm going to referring to leveraged and residual income. By now, you know the difference. Okay. Now, this, as Coach Paul said, this particular quadrant was developed, or it was put together. You know, it is something that's normally there, but someone just put it together into perspective into 4 quadrants. Yeah. The left-hand side, which is the E and the S, okay, which is the E and the S. E stands for employee and S stands for self-employed. Yeah. Okay, let me just go back there. Okay, if it's too small on your phone, just expand it. Okay. So the left side, you see where there is E and S, that is where 95% of the people in this world exist. That is not exist, but that's how 95 or 97% of the people make money. E and S, okay? E and S, that is where you find linear income. And those are the people who suffer, and especially during this pandemic, the E and S people really suffered, okay? Now, the E there stands for employee. Now, employee is good. Employee is okay. Employee is where we all start, okay? Like I told you personally, I was employed somewhere, a very high-flying job, yeah? employee is fine. But what Robert Kiyosaki, and you can Google him, one of the wealthiest men on the planet, what Robert Kiyosaki says is that people who are at E, they have a job, okay? People who are at E, they have no leverage. No leverage, meaning the person makes money by themselves. However much money you're making it by yourself. If anything happens to you, that's the end of the money. And the example I normally like giving here is people are normally deceived to think because I'm a highly paid employee or because I'm employed in the first place, you may not even be highly employed. Because I'm employed, I'm gonna be comfortable here because I'm getting money. What they don't know is that they have no leverage. If anything happens to their jobs, that's the end of them and an income. Worse still, we have seen families where the breadwinner or somebody was making a lot of money, employed very, being paid a very high salary, and they are very comfortable. What happens is if anything happens to that person, God forbid, if that person passes on, what normally happens, the family spirals back into lack, sometimes even into poverty. And I'm sure we have seen such families, yeah, where, maybe even the house, the car was being paid by the company, or maybe even the person was being paid so much they could afford to live, a good life. The children are going to good schools, they were living well, but there was no leverage in that family, okay? One of the people I really admire in one of my role models in business is a lady who was very high flying, had a very good job. I think she was being paid $10,000 per month, I suspect, because she says the money she was being paid is, in a recent interview, she said by today's standards, and she was there employed about 10 years ago. She says even by today's standards, whatever she used to earn, by today's standards is a very high salary. So I think she used to earn $10,000, okay? She's a Kenyan. But she said the day her husband passed on, and her husband was a big person in the military. The day her husband passed on is the day she realized that she needs to do something. Is the day I think it came to her that she's actually employed with a very good job, being paid a high salary. But if anything happened to her, because now she was left with 2 children, if anything happened to her, the children are gonna suffer. And you have seen very many such examples. So she said in her interview, if you want to know her name, WhatsApp me separately. I'm gonna send you her name and her videos. I really like watching her YouTube videos. She said when she put her resignation to quit her job, her employer was shocked. He asked her, "Where are you going?" Her colleagues asked her, "Why are you quitting such a job? You're one of the biggest, you're one of the highest paid employees." She said, "I'm leaving," because she realized she's not on any leverage. You understand? Okay. Unfortunately, Robert Kiyosaki says there that 5% of the wealth, only 5% of the people in this world can make any kind of wealth from employment. Okay, you really have to plan if you want it to make you wealthy. Okay, so I said nothing wrong about employment, but the thing is you've got to have a better strategy in life. Okay, and another thing about E is that for E, you're fighting against the clock, or rather you're working for the clock. The clock is actually your boss. Do you know why? Because unless you are involved unless you show up at work, and we all know that's common sense, unless you are at work, you cannot make money. And I really love the illustration Robert Kiyosaki has put there. It is your money is on the clock, okay? And at some point, your money does not increase with how much you work. Do we all agree that? Unless you're paid overtime, but even overtime is not good enough. And you're even sacrificing the time you'd have spent with your family. You understand? Okay. So an E is being controlled by the clock. They're running after the clock. The clock determines whether they are paid or not. You don't show up at work, you are not paid. Okay. You're given a deadline, you don't meet the deadline, you're not paid. Or rather, You're paid, but with a lot of stress. I mean, we all know all this. You know, that's where we all started. Okay. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, that is hardly says that is hardly the place to be comfortable. Then he says, when people are at ease, they say, you know what, I've had enough. I think the salary I'm being paid here is not enough, so I am quitting and I'm going to S. They intend to make their lives better and that of their family. So they say, I'm going to S. I'm going to be self-employed. I think I have a skill that instead of being employed and my boss is not appreciating, let me go and start my own law firm. Let me go and start my own accountancy firm. Let me go and start my own clinic and so on, or my own school, or let me, you know, all sorts of employment. Yeah. Robert Kiyosaki says that's fine. But do you know what? Someone who is self-employed, you own a job. Before you had a job is still following you. Now you own a job, okay? It is even worse. At least for an employee, they can go on leave. But a self-employed person, they can hardly go on leave. There's another cash flow quadrant I saw where they were asking on the S, they were asking, can you take 6 weeks of leave and be comfortable where you are and be okay where you are, that your farm is still continuing well? And the answer is normally no. People who are self-employed is okay. It's okay because you're looking for a better life, yeah. But you hardly have time to yourself. You're even worse off than the employee. You know, you're still on the same side of the quadrant. You're still fighting against time. The clock is still there following you. You know, if you don't remember anything else, I say, remember the illustrations, those pictures that you can see there. So the self-employed, the clock, you're still working on the clock. You have to open your business until late. In the morning, whether it is cold, whether you're feeling unwell, okay, you still have to struggle and go to work. Okay, fine, you're gonna have employees, right? But you see, the thing is this, you're still being controlled because you still have to be there for your employees to work. You understand? You're still a solo artist, let me call it that, okay? So Robert Kiyosaki says you still have no leverage. He says 95% of the population in this world are on the S, okay? You still need to be involved to make money. The amount of active work you put in determines whether you will earn. If you're a barber, if you're in a salon, if you own a salon, if there's nobody seated on that chair for their hair to be cut, no money that day, okay? And maybe not you to cut them, maybe you have employees, but for as long as people are not coming into the business, no money, you understand? Now, if anything happens again, what happens is that you, not you, but so, I always say I don't like referring to the people I'm talking to, I like referring to someone out there. In case anything happens, it does not mean the children of that person or the wife of that person is gonna be, oh my God, I hadn't powered my laptop. Okay, so when it comes to self-employed, yeah, actually not even S, the E and the S, okay? When it comes to the E and the S, those positions are not inheritable. You understand what I mean? They are not inheritable. If you are an employee or if someone is an employee, okay, if anything happens, your child, your wife, your husband, okay, your mom, your dad, your siblings won't be told, oh, sit on that seat. You know, your husband was a very good lawyer, sit on that seat, and you're gonna be paying you the same amount of money. What they'll tell you, they'll pay you the final dues, and final dues will get finished at some point, you understand? The same thing as S. If anything happens, and you have seen it so many times, yeah, the visionary of a business passes on And you know what happens? The kids begin fighting for the money because they didn't have the vision. It was not leveraged income. It was just someone running their own show. You understand? Okay. So E and S, Robert Kiyosaki says, are good places to make money, but in your mind, you should always be looking to move to the second half of the quadrant. Now, the second half of the quadrant, the B and the I, that is why only 5%, it used to be 3%, but now people are beginning to be knowledgeable. Only 5% are on the second half. Now, the first quadrant there in the second half is B. B is business owner. Robert Kiyosaki, okay, and I'm quoting him because he's an authority in this. Robert Kiyosaki says, people in the S normally deceive themselves that they are business owners when indeed they are not. What they do is they have a job. They still have a job. They're like someone who's employed because the same conditions that control the employer, the employee is the same condition that control the self-employed, and even maybe worse off, because here for sure they cannot go on holiday. Okay. Now the business owner owns a business. Actually, Robert Kiyosaki says anybody who's called a business owner, what they do, they own a system that makes for them money. That's the best place you could ever be. And SYSTEM stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money. Save yourself some time, energy, and money. When you become a business owner, you're saving yourself some time. Why? Because the way you're making money doesn't require for you to be involved throughout your life. Okay? So you save some time to spend with your family. You begin getting what you call time freedom. That's what a system does. Save yourself some time, energy. Energy meaning you don't make money by yourself. You don't expend all your energy to make money. And that's the best way to make money, by the way. People who are wealthy, we normally hear about them playing golf the whole day, going for massage. Have you seen people are like, but what does this one do? We never see him doing anything, but look at the car he's driving. Look at the house he's living in. Look at where the children are going to school. Because someone figured out a system, they figured out how to save themselves energy, you understand? So they don't need to expend their energy in a business, opening doors and closing doors to a business every day, running to work in the traffic, coming home late. They don't see their family. They have saved themselves energy. System, save yourself some time, energy, and money. Guess what? Business owners, they normally use money, not all their money, like the self-employed. The self-employed, it gets to a point where you're reaching out into your pocket to pay your employees because business wasn't good, or to pay rent. The business owner saves himself money. You know why? Business owners normally do what is called OPM. They use other people's money. Business owners do OPE, other people's energy. Business owners do OPS, other people's skills. You don't have to have all the skills, get other people with skills, and you make money together. You understand? When you're employed, you're told, unless you go and do a higher degree, all of you, I'm giving you what? 2 years. If you don't do a higher degree, you lose your job. You have to keep on skilling up until when? And you're only skilling up for a little increment, you understand? Okay? But the business owner doesn't need to skill up. There are people who are skilled up already in his business, okay? All right? Now, the business owner also uses OPM, other people's marketing. Let other people market, he makes the money, okay? Initially, he has to do everything by himself, but eventually he sets himself free. They own a system. B, they do what is called leveraged income or residual income. And Robert Kiyosaki says 95% of wealth is made as a business owner. But how many people get that 95% of the wealth in the world? Very few people, okay? And he says there, I'm just reading the notes, income does not do what? Depend on active work. The income of the business owner does not depend on the work he himself is doing. Remember, I told you, please, if you're making money in a way that it only has to be you making that money, you better think of a way of transitioning into the second half of the quadrant, okay? And that's why I told you when I lost my job, I decided I'm actually not going to do E or S. I want to go straight away to becoming from E to B. And that's what I became. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. Now, the illustration there or the graphic that you can see there is that for a business owner, people work with you to make money. You see that? People who are wealthy in this world, they work with other people to make money together. Let me give you an example. Bill Gates. Bill Gates is one of the wealthiest men, okay, on earth. Of course, now more people have come who are wealthier than him, but Bill Gates is one of the wealthiest men. Do you know why he's wealthy? Because Bill Gates created something called Microsoft Windows. He created an operating system that was so good that it was put, you know, he partnered with IBM initially so that IBM put his software or his operating system into the IBMs, and then IBMs, they dispatch their computers. You know, people buy IBMs from all over the world. You know, those days it used to be IBM, yeah. And what Bill Gates did is that every year, every person with Windows has to renew their license. Now, he doesn't come and call you and tell you, renew your license, okay? Okay, the software itself asks for renewal of license. Now, Bill Gates makes money by leveraging on other people. He works with you and I to make his money, okay? He works with a system, you understand? He has created a system to make for him money, and it required him to have a lot of capital. And that is why a long time ago, to become a business owner was very expensive. Aliko Dangote, the wealthiest man in Africa, it took him 30 years to become a multi-millionaire, to become the wealthiest in Africa, 30 years, because he's in the manufacturing industry, he does mining, you know, all those things, yeah, transportation. Now, it took him 30 years. You can imagine the capital, the energy he put in, okay? Nevertheless, Aliko Dangote has developed a system that pays him. His cash flow is very good, okay? Now, the news I have for you is this, that in the 21st and the 22nd century, which is where we are at, technology has come to make people business owners faster, to make people millionaires faster. There is no faster way to become a millionaire right now without technology. If you look at the wealthiest men in Africa, the wealthiest men in the world, many of them are in technology, okay? So the good news I'm sharing with you today, and thank God we're not looking at this quadrant like 10 or 20 years ago, we're looking at it now. The good news I have for you today, to move from the left to the right quadrant, you would only need to have a piece of technology. Now, at that point also, let me say something. What is making people wealthy right now, and I'm saying this in all fairness, it is in different researches. You can go to Google and look it up. And even when I say it, you'll say, yeah, actually, you're right, because that is where the world is moving. If you want to become a millionaire right now, do you know the best way to become a millionaire is to hook yourself up to a mobile app. And I'm telling you as an IT person as well, to hook yourself up with a mobile app. A few years ago, mobile apps were barely not in existence, okay? Or they're not in very good use. But right now, do you know how many apps exist? If you go to Google Play Store alone, or you go to Apple Store, do you know how many apps you're gonna see there? Why are there apps? They are increment in apps. Why do banks have apps? Why do TV stations have apps? Why do insurance companies have apps? Why are people creating games on apps? Why is Zoom on app? Why is Facebook on apps? Because if you want to become a millionaire right now, get yourself into an app. Now, remember I told you the logic of B is that you use other people's skills. You may not know how to create an app, but you know an app someone has created, okay? You may not be the one who runs the backside of the app. The owners of the app, they get technicians, they get, in IT, we call them support people, you know, they get developers, you know. I normally imagine what is behind an app, yeah, because I've been there, yeah. They get those people, okay? You don't pay them. The creator of the app pays those people, you understand? You, what you do is you get an app and you leverage on it. That is why the word leveraging comes in. You lean on it as if it's yours, but it's actually not yours, okay? You do what the creator of the app requires you to do to own it, or to have it, making money from you. Now, Coach Paul had just said that in this cash flow quadrant, we're not just learning this for nothing. I'm teaching you this with a solution. You see, you don't show people a problem and you don't offer them a solution, yeah? Virtual AVS is a mobile app that anybody can use to make money, anybody, okay? Anybody can use to make money. It's a mobile, you know, once you pay for your license, and I'm sure you all know this, once you pay for your license in your virtual AVS license, you can use the app for 5 years. For 5 years. An app you didn't develop, you don't know how it works, you only get a license and you begin implementing what the app needs to be done for you to make money. You understand? Now, the virtual AVS app, it makes you money from airtime people are purchasing from all over the world. Do you understand? When I tell you business owners, they work with people to make money. It's in that illustration there. So you can imagine some of that crowd you're seeing there on the illustration. One of them is maybe in South Africa. He's buying airtime in South Africa. The app pays you. Another person there is renewing DSTV. The app pays you. Another person there is renewing their insurance. The app pays you. The app, that person doesn't know you, you don't know them, but the app is able to detect that person is in your team and to send money to your wallet. You understand? Okay? The person there is using the app to pay for what else was that? I spoke about cable TV, which is DSTV, Go TV, and so on. Paying for water. Can you imagine something that someone has to pay for? They've been paying for it for years. They are yet to pay. They'll still pay for it for years. Water, electricity. There's no time they'll ever stop paying for it. And guess what? This app, whenever they pay for water and electricity, you are paid. The person is in Ghana. The person is in Senegal. The person is in Kenya. The person is in Tanzania. The person is in the US. The other day they put US into the system. The person is in Cuba. You don't even know which direction Cuba is, but they buy water in Cuba, you earn, and you're in South Africa, you earn, and you're in Kenya. What a wonderful way to become a business owner. And that is why I said, this is the easiest time to become a multi-millionaire. You can imagine from one person, you're making several incomes, just one person. When the person pays for water, you're making money. When the same person pays for electricity, you make money. The same person renews cable TV, you make money. The same person buys airtime, you make money. The same person pays insurance for their car, you make money. The same person pays insurance for their health, you make money. The same person pays for education insurance, you make money. One person 7 times in 1 month. Multiply that by 10,000 people, 70,000 ways of making money in 1 month. And what is the license fee for virtual AVS? $144. Okay, 16,000 if you're a Kenyan. How long will you make that money for that $144 for 5 years? How else will you create wealth from your family if it is not through virtual AVS? What I tell people is this, yeah, do not be let me call it the glitter of employment. And I'm saying this very candidly. Do not have the glitter of employment or self-employment and let an opportunity like virtual AVS pass you. You know why? Because virtual AVS app is gonna be one of the of the biggest apps in Africa in the next year. One of the biggest apps in Africa, actually in the world, okay? It's gonna be, I like Coach Paul uses the word fintech, and I really love that word because, it's an IT related word, yeah? Fintech, finance and technology put together. Virtual AVS is gonna be the biggest fintech in Africa, and I'm so confident about it. Do you know why? Because people are looking for ways of making money. And the good thing about this app is gonna make you cash flow rich. Cash flow rich. Then what you'll do when you're cash flow rich, you will go to I. You see the I at the bottom there? The I is for the investor. Now that is where assets come in. You understand? So it says there, the investor, you own investments. Where do you get your investments from? From the cash flow that you made. And Robert Kiyosaki says, only 5% of the population in the world actually get investment from leverage. You can invest, even as an employee, you can invest. As self-employed, you can invest. But the person who has the most, who can invest the most, is actually the person who's the business owner. Do you know why? Because the cash, we talked about residual income. It is little at first, and then it goes exponentially as time moves by. That means as time moves by, you're able to buy bigger and bigger assets, and you're still cash flow rich. You understand? I mean, if you're making like $1 million in a month using virtual AVS, and today I want to make a presentation. The presentation is on Tuesday, okay? And most likely I'm gonna do that presentation so that I can put this into perspective, okay? Now, if you're earning $1 million using the app, and we've seen it is possible, okay? That means every month you're getting $1 million in cash. You're cash rich. In the process, you're gonna be asset rich as well, okay? And once you put your money in assets, if any need comes, you still have enough cash to deal with that need. Your cash flow is good, okay? So it is good to be an investor on leverage also. Don't be an investor from the money just you're making from employment. It won't be enough. You can't split it, okay? You can't be a big investor. You can't be these big giant shareholders of companies. You can't be that if you're pulling your money from self-employment or you're pulling your money from employment. It can only be when you're a business owner, okay? So Robert Kiyosaki says here that an investor, your money now begins to work for you. No longer people, now your money, okay? So you can be in the B and I at the same time. You make money from B with other people, you go to I, you invest, okay? And you go on like that. So to conclude here, let me just say, please seek to make money from a system. Please buy your license. Please buy your license. The good thing about a business like virtual AVS, someone who actually comes with little money, even let's say like a university graduate who has no job, but they get $144 from somewhere and they say, you know what, I'm gonna put it into this app and I'm gonna do what this app requires me to do to make this money. Do you know that person can actually begin to make more money a year or two from now from someone who is running a chain of restaurants by themselves? So, more money than someone who's self-employed, who doesn't leverage. Someone will come with $144 only and do leveraging, and actually a few years later, the person is a millionaire, okay? So that was my message for you to today, Tuesday, 10 p.m. East Africa time. We'll be talking about virtual AVS. I'm gonna, I'll look at the schedule. I'm likely to be the one giving that talk so that I can just transit what I've been talking about into the virtual AVS business. But at this juncture, I would like to request, we have 3 minutes. Coach Paul, do you mind looking at the charts? I know you've written quite a lot there. So if you can help me, I would really be glad. And do you wish me to pull down my share?
No, that's okay. I think it can stay there. It's a very powerful image. I believe I'm not the only one who can agree that this is very valuable information. I believe also people out there actually pay quite a lot of money to get this kind of education. But for those who've tuned in here, of course, if you have enjoyed the session and you've learned something that you can use to leverage on the system that we have, with virtual AVS, then you are at the right place at the right time. I know that there have been comments that have been coming in that specifically also spoke to your training. There is a significant number of people who believe that what we're doing here with is looking for ways to become to be part of the side on the right side of the quadrant, which is being a business owner or an investor. And virtual ABS allows you to do both. So for those who tuned in and perhaps you'd like a recording of this session, it will be posted soon enough, as soon as it's uploaded. Anastasia says today's session is awesome. Nuala says indeed it is an easy app to use, which is the virtual ABS app. Even for those who subscribe to BBC, which is Born Before Computers, yes, that community can also learn how to use a very easy to use app. The virtual ABS app allows you to be able to learn how to use it to turn your expenses into passive income. And of course, if you are tuning in for the very first time, perhaps you don't even know what OPMO, Anastasia Mutunga says OPMO, OPT, OPE, OTM, OTMR, OTS, how it applies in this. I think these are the things that we also learned on Thursday. For those who missed out on that session, Queen Tasha will clarify and let you know what OPMO and all those signatories mean. And of course, you have Bridget who says great strategies with consistent focus and patience will lead to unimaginable wealth and super wealth to all virtual ABS partners. This is a golden opportunity to anyone who values their own financial freedom. Ronnie Mazira says, I've caught that. Do not let the glitter of employment blind you to the reality. In reality, the future is in BNI, make money and invest. Powerful comments coming in from our participants. And of course, just like the website says, passive income is the smooth pathway to financial freedom. And our virtual ABS basically offers the ways that we can be able to earn income without breaking a sweat. Liz says, thank you so much for the valuable information. Of course, Liz will also be doing a video pretty soon with the same script. We're looking forward to seeing some of those powerful videos. Lynn says, thank you, Queen Tasha and Coach Paul. That was powerful. Forward ever. I agree with that. John Octave Shem says the information was very valuable. And of course, Anastasia now clarifies what the acronyms meant. Other people's money, other people's time, effort, energy, marketing, and people's skill and system. So great information, just like Sifom Delovo says there from this webinar. And Miss Lucy says that was a powerful talk, a very valuable information that everyone needs to hear. So back to you, Queen Tasha. I believe everybody's gotten some great value from this session tonight.
Thank you very much, Coach Paul, for that. Yes, so I'd like also to say that I'm gonna be giving this talk again next Thursday in our franchise office in Nairobi. So in case you can make it to Nairobi or to our franchise office, which is Kimathi House, 5th floor. Yeah, please feel free to come. Feel free to come. I'm gonna be giving this same talk. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to say is we have WhatsApp groups. We have WhatsApp groups, Wealth Club WhatsApp group. In case you're not in any of the WhatsApp groups, please request that you be added, because we share quite a lot concerning such topics in the WhatsApp groups. Yeah. And also you can ask questions and there'll be people to answer you. So it is very, very important to join the WhatsApp group. Also, in the WhatsApp groups, what we normally do is we also post training links for every training we are gonna have. This is not the only training that we will have. This is not the only training we have on Sunday. Actually, every Sunday at 9 p.m. East Africa time, we normally have a different kind of training. So I would urge you to join the WhatsApp group so that you can know which training is offered on which particular day. Okay, Coach Paul, there you are. Yeah, to know which training is offered on which particular day. So we have Zooms, as you can see there. every Tuesday and Thursday. I hope you can see that. You can take a picture if you're using your phone or something, take a screenshot, yeah? So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have at 10 p.m. East Africa time. And that's why I said next Tuesday, most likely I'll give a talk at 10 p.m. East Africa time, yeah? And you can see the time stamp for all the other countries, Tuesday and Thursday. And then Wednesday and Saturday, we normally have it early in the day for people who sleep early in the evening, yeah? So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have Zoom at 4 p.m. East Africa time or 1600 hours East Africa time on Zoom, and the link is there. That is why I say take a screenshot, okay? So that is it. Coach Paul, maybe you can put up the training we have in our office in Nairobi, Kenya. So it says there, business skill training of virtual AVS franchise office on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the 3 days of the week. That's tomorrow, Wednesday and Friday of this week and every other week at 8 o'clock in the morning, as if you're going to work, yeah? It's work actually. At 8 o'clock in the morning, we have what you call business skills training, meaning when you buy a license, you're not left by yourself to sort out how to do your virtual AVS business. You are taught the skills to do this business. I told you one person pays you 7 times. We're going to teach you how to get 2 people to pay you 7 times, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. And you know, on Saturday, for the ones who joined my training, actually was training again yesterday in the morning, I said that the caliber of people coming to the franchise office right now, they're like, you can't believe the political class. Please listen to me really good. The political class, I'm talking about MCAs, MPs, governors, okay? And I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. They're actually coming to the virtual AVS. We have trained very many. They're beginning to come in. You know why? They're beginning to, they're telling each other about, we began by speaking to a few, but the news is spreading in Parliament that we have an app that can actually be used to empower their electorate. So many of them are coming to ask how they can get started with this business, because we're telling them their electorate can act, instead of dishing out money, they can actually begin projects for the electorate using virtual AVS app. And if they empower one person in their community to make money for 5 years, and that person can actually grow a team that will make money for them for 5 years at only $144, you know, they're going to empower more people, and they're going to empower in a big way. And in the process, they also make money, because you make money from also people in your team. So the money they're using to empower will still come back to them. We were actually calculating that if one member of parliament gets, was it 3,000 people, they're gonna be earning $25,000 every month, they themselves. It is better than dishing out money and your money just goes like that, you understand? So the political class are beginning to come to virtual AVS. And when they do that, because they know about these quadrants, you know, they may not know it's a quadrant, but they know about making money and so on, you understand? Okay, so we're beginning to see the political class. We're beginning to see big business leaders who know about leveraging. You understand? They know about leveraging or not leveraging. Okay, and what is exciting them the most is that they have, it's an app that actually anybody in any country, they can do business with anybody in any country. You understand? That is why these people are coming in. That is what I was telling my colleagues yesterday in my morning class. Coach Paul, just put back the previous poster. Thank you. So what I was saying is that at 8 p.m., Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, we have a physical, it's not on Zoom, it's a physical class that we have for people who have licenses, okay? And then down there in black, it says, virtual AVS guests, open business opportunity orientation. What does that, all that means is if you have someone who wants to know how virtual AVS works, or today you're wondering, hey, I need to know how this app works. We are inviting you again on the same Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this time at 1300 hours. That is 1 p.m. East Africa time, okay? And also at 5:30 5:30 in the evening, okay? After work, at 5:30 after work, please come to our office, or over lunchtime at 1 p.m. Please come to our office. It says there, Kimathi House, 5th floor, office 507. Take a screenshot, okay? Or ask us to send you a poster. And Anastasia, I'm seeing you saying there's just a comment I've just quickly seen. Anastasia is saying that on Friday alone, this last Friday, 5 aspirants, you know, Kenya is in elections, yeah? 5 aspirants walked into the office to know how virtual AVS works. Now, you have an opportunity to make money the same way these people can make money. When you see politicians interested in a system, it's because they know what that system can do for them, how it can empower them. Of course, they are normally them and their electorate. So even for you, you should know this system can empower you and your family. You understand? Please visit our office or join our Zoom. If you're not in Nairobi or you're not in Kenya, please don't miss the Zooms. We've just shown you the schedule. Tuesday, we are on 10 p.m. East Africa time. Thursday, we are on 10 p.m. Wednesday and Saturday, 4 p.m. East Africa time. So thank you very much all for joining in. The app Virtual AVS is on Google Play Store. Please go and download it. Downloading it is free of charge. Download it, and then you'll see the register link. Press on register, and then fill in the form. Once you fill in the form, you're gonna see how the app looks like, okay? At least that one is free. Customer accounts are free of charge, okay? Thereafter, the person who invited you into this Zoom, please tell them to show you how to register and how to pay for your license. Please, end of this month, March, buy your license. Begin April in a more powerful way, okay? So thank you very much, everyone. I want to appreciate you all. I want to appreciate, I see here